And bam, welcome back to Nando Talk. We have a very, very special episode today. We have one of I think the biggest guest we've had on the show today. It is none other than Nico at Elite Takes on platforms like TikTok, where he's got over 400,000 followers. And on Twitter, he's up to almost 20,000. Big deal in the Dolphins community. And he is a young star. Nico, take it away. Thank you for coming on the show, man. We're going to talk some Dolphins, man. It's going to be a fun one.
Oh yeah, let's do it, man. I can't wait.
Dude, thank you for coming on, man. It's a pleasure to have you here. We've been looking forward to this, and it's finally time to talk some Dolphins, man. How are you feeling this season coming in?
I'm feeling really, honestly, as optimistic as I've been, man. Maybe in my entire life as a Dolphins fan. I mean, I started really kind of getting into it around 2013, and I don't really remember what the talk was before our playoff appearance 2015, I think it was. But man, I think this is the most optimistic I've felt for sure.
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, I've got that little Tannehill jersey on the wall there since about 2013. It's rookie year Tannehill, so I remember exactly what you're talking about. It's the first year off the Tannehill year. It seems to be like he's going to be the guy over Matt Moore. Interesting time for the Miami Dolphins.
Oh yeah,
it's 10 years after that. Now, can you imagine how far we've progressed? You know, from Tannehill and Joe Philbin as our head coaches. You know, now we're in the Mike.
oh,
yeah.
Man.
We're in the Mike McDaniel with the 2-1 Tyreek Hill era. Like it was Mike Wallace as wide receiver 1. Now it's Tyreek Hill. Like that's lo and behold. Like what a change.
We really convinced ourselves that things were better than they were back then, man. It's funny to look back on.
You know I guess that's the essence of fandom, Nico. And if you don't know, Nando Talk is all about positivity. I'm a bit of a homer guy. You know, I do have my tinfoil hat back there. I love to talk positive about my Dolphins. You know, I know you're a man of around the NFL. You know, for those who don't know, Nico talks all football everywhere, even some college football now. That's pretty cool. We'll talk about that a little bit later in. But, dude, this is the time now, I think.
Oh yeah, this is the time.
How do you feel we are compared to, I guess, the rest of the league? Like, how do you feel about the Dolphins? How do you think we stack up? Maybe in the AFC at least.
I mean, in the entire league, I think we're like right out of 32 teams. We're probably right around 16. We're definitely in that tier of not a mediocre team, more so a really, all things considered, good team going into the season. And in the AFC, we're right on the border, man. I think in terms of the can we make the final 7 of this absolutely stacked, AFC West. Even the Colts made all of their changes, so we'll see.
So man. Dirty. Yeah, it's definitely the AFC is stacked. You know, and it's going to be no small feat to get to be a wild card team. Especially with how loaded like the divisions like the AFC West are. The AFC North seems to be getting back to full strength.
Oh yeah, Lamar's back, and even Watson will be back week
after that second half push if they survive with the rushing attack.
Oh yeah, it's Jacoby.
Ooh, firsthand, man. I got to see I think it's wild when I go on Twitter and I see people saying like Jacoby Brissett's not that bad. Like
oh man, we're on the same page there, man. Jacoby was not the guy.
Not the guy. That's some delusion. I was there. I was there. Like I was there physically last year when I saw him play, but I was also physically literally for a half second I convinced myself maybe Jacoby Brissett's the guy. I saw him trotting out on the field. I was like, okay, he didn't look too bad against the Pats. With the Pats, he was okay with the Colts. Then I see him throw the first 2 balls, that pick, and I was like, no, this is going to be a tough stretch. Like, Tua, please.
Man. The Colts, I got myself a little optimistic with those Raiders and Bucks games, but then, man, it came downhill quick. And then that Texans game, that was bad.
No, it was not pretty.
I do not want to experience that again.
Not at all, man. It was fun to see that second stretch of the season just pop alive with that energy, and that's what I'm hoping we hit with like week 1 with. I want to hit us the ground running. It is Patriot weekend. Do you think the Dolphins are firing on all cylinders against the Patriots? Or think we start off slow? How are you feeling the Dolphins are measuring up to?
I think the Patriots. They are a team that I am confident we are winning this game. I think last year, we went out on a little bit of bang, a little bit of kind of, I don't know. There was some weird tension going on behind the scenes, but it still felt decent. This year, I think that everyone's on the same page. Everyone's going to come out
Exactly.
fired up. I feel good about our chances, especially because a lot of teams in the league, every offseason, people love to talk about how this team got better. The Patriots, I think, are one of the few teams in the league that honestly got worse. Yeah.
100%. All the reports from training camp have been that they've been shoddy at best. I don't know if it's the Matt Patricia offensive scheme that they're running with Joe Judge influencing there. Great offensive minds, am I right? But,
oh yeah, guys with tons of experience on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, sure. I don't know what Bill Belichick's doing, but who am I to judge Bill? Mac Jones has to just learn that system, I guess, with Devontae Parker and Jacoby Myers as amazingly talented receivers. I'm not afraid of the receiving corps at all.
No.
I know we don't have Byron Jones, but we're still fine.
Oh yeah, it's like I think that Xavier on Kendrick Bourne, that he's probably their most dangerous weapon. And like Kendrick Bourne, he's not a bad player, but man, best weapon on your offense.
That's tough.
I feel like we are definitely have the advantage, I guess, on our defensive side of the ball versus their offense.
Yeah. I think it's really going to come down to how our O-line holds up against their D-line. I saw, against your first episode against the little Dolphins versus the Patriots on your TikTok series, man, for franchise mode. Matt Judon, man. Dude, that's tough. Like 4 or 5 sacks. That's what it's going to come down to. Do you think our O-line is going to hold up? I'm not afraid of the Patriots secondary, but the front seven?
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be a lot of quick stuff because the Patriots, they have Barmore, they have Judon up there. Those guys are actually, they can cause some problems, but I think it's all going to be about Tyreek. You better get open quickly, and we know he's going to get open quickly against who? Jonathan Jones. They might double team him. Then Waddle's going to be free. I think that it's all going to be about just running some short passes, and people will make fun of Tua all week. Trust me, everyone's going to talk about the storyline after the game is going to be how Tua was not chucking it deep. But that's kind of what you have to do in a matchup like this.
Yeah, a win's a win at the end of the day. If that's the kind of win we're going to take, I'll take it. It's in 10 weeks from now, I'm not going to remember that. All I'm going to see is a W in the column. That's all it's going to matter for the playoffs.
I mean, obviously, you'd love to see one of those explosive plays from Tua, and that would be great to run with throughout the entire season. But I think it's going to be more of a methodical approach this week.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we hold up and we can get it off quickly, let Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle get to work. Hey, your favorite player right there, So yeah. I hope Waddle can score a touchdown. Who do you think scores a touchdown first, Waddle or Tyreek?
I think it's going to be Waddle because I was looking. There was this guy on Twitter that did some studies about how the Patriots have defended Tyreek Hill in the past, and they love to double team him. So I think the pressure is going to be on Waddle this week for sure.
That's interesting. Like, how do you double team Jalen Waddle? I mean, how do you avoid double teaming Jalen Waddle? Because then you're leaving Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki on single coverage. You're exposing so much.
They got the rookie cornerbacks. It's a tough situation for them. I'm glad we are not in that boat right now because I have no idea how you approach that as a defensive coordinator. If you just lost J.C. Jackson, man. If they still had J.C. Jackson, I think that this would be a pretty even matchup, honestly. But there's just such an obvious mismatch there. I think
that big of a loss.
It over and over.
Yeah, I mean, JC's going to do wonders for the Chargers. So that's definitely a massive change. I'm glad, like I'm saying, I'm glad we don't have to deal with that. It's been tough all offseason for our boys. Now they probably are so excited, like unleash that offense on another defense. Let them get to work somewhere else. How do you think Tua does? I mean, thinking dunk, of course, but you think he'll be steady or?
I'm hoping that it's a pretty steady game because last year, worst offensive line in the league goes into Gillette Stadium, and he was doing well, I thought, and until all of a sudden things got a little shaky in that third quarter. That whole incident with I don't know if he was trying to throw it away to Gesicki. Then he got a little rattled. But I think this year at home, quiet stadium, hopefully, and a better offensive line, I think he'll be more calm. I think he can make it through without an interception for sure.
There we go. That's what I want to hear.
We're hoping for, man.
I'm hoping that it's a clean.
As long as we don't give all the people some ammo right out of the gates, I think we will be in pretty solid shape.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to win, but exactly avoid that negative ammo. Avoid the little holes that people can nitpick.
Oh
I
yeah.
like that you said quiet. Apparently, we're bringing back the quiet offense at work sign. So I love that.
I heard about that thing. Dolphins Twitter, they tried to get that movement going, and they finally got the attention of people that were connected to the stadium workers. So yeah, that'll help out a lot for sure.
It'll be massive. And I appreciate fans who they want to get up and get rowdy, and that's amazing for defense. I'll almost pass out screaming on defense. My buddies know they have to keep a hand out. Like Nando might see stars, and I might stumble forward.
We need to make it for Mac Jones what it was like for Tua last year, week 1. That's got to be the goal.
Oh, return of the Mac. Oh my God, another sack, man. It's gonna be a fun time, man. That's a shout out my boy Bill. But that's how we're gonna be coming hard at them, man. It's gonna be. That's the key. I think we have to really rattle Mac Jones. We saw him throwing into ghosts, it was 5, 6 defenders. So I think if we can really rattle him and cause him to just throw those interceptions, throw those sloppy plays, it's Dolphins season, man. I'm predicting a Dolphins win, man. I think you are too.
Yeah, I think we got it. I mean, last year I was actually really surprised with how smooth Mac Jones was in that week 1 matchup. Things got a little messier for him week 18, but last year I got to give him some respect. He came out and caused some problems, but this year I think this defense we're gonna have to create some turnovers early on, get him phased with another one of those turnovers like Xavier Howard's pick 6 last year. That really kind of made that offense feel pretty unsettled once we did that to them right away. So yeah,
that was beautiful. I like that you mentioned that. It was really cool. It was like, no, I don't want to say it's cool because he's a Patriot, but it was interesting how Mac Jones week 1 as a rookie was pretty chilling. He was nice, smooth, and collected. And then week 18 he was more rattled. You would have thought it'd be the reverse. I'm hoping whatever game plan we dialed up for week 18 is something we copy more for this week 1 game and just start affecting him nice and early. Pick early, Nico, would be massive.
Oh, pick early. Man, we need Xavier to start getting on that trajectory to have another one of those 8-9 interception seasons. So I'm going to be really excited if he gets a pick in the first half of that game.
Hey man, it's gonna be a fun time, man. How do you feel about our defense in general, though? I think it's gonna have to be the strength of our team, I guess. It was a little shaky in the first half of the season last year. Second half of the season, it turned immediately alive. Patriots have weak corners. How do you think we're going to match up? Our secondary is a little banged up right now without Byron.
Oh yeah, it's. I think that the thing that I am kind of curious about and something I'm not totally confident about is how will Josh Boyer do now that he's the lone man left on an island? He's in charge of this defense because I'm not sure if I have this straight, but Flores took over as the play caller during our big run, if I'm not mistaken.
So there's that argument there. Boyer claims he took over. Flores claimed he took over.
Knows,
so we don't know. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just worried that if Boyer, I'm hoping that he was having a big say in that second half of the season, and it's really going to be on him to pull out those aggressive blitzes at the right times. But in terms of our talent, I think the front 7 is pretty solid. We're hoping that Jalen Phillips can break out and be a true superstar in that front 7, because I think that's the one thing we're lacking right now is we don't have a true elite game-changing defensive player. Wilkins is the man. I like Sealer. I think we have some really solid edge rushers, Ogba and all. But if we can get one of those guys to break out and maybe put together 15 to 20 sack season, that's when our defense would just be beautiful. But the secondary is definitely the strength, I would say. Cornerback 2 is the biggest concern. But honestly, it kind of works out well to lose Byron right now because I assume they're going to put Noah out there. And week 1 against the Patriots, not as big of a task for him. Shouldn't be too much to ask for him to not completely collapse back there. And obviously, we still got Damian, Holland, Brandon Jones. So I think the secondary, we kind of lucked out here because in terms of the first 2 weeks, we are facing two of the worst wide receiver cores in the league. So
Yeah, man.
weeks 3 and 4 might be a bit of a different story, man. But if we can get through those first two, man.
Yeah, that thankfully, we played the Patriots and the Ravens like really early on. The Bills, they don't have Tre'Davious White, so it's like a bit of a trade-off there.
That kind of I
offsets a
remember
bit.
seeing that notification. I was like,
How good is their cornerback too, though? That's something like that's a great. See, this is why I want to have Nico on. He's the NFL guy.
They got Kaiir Elam, the first-round pick out of Florida, but I think that's a tough ask, man. Rookie cornerbacks, always a bit of a rough transition first year in the NFL, unless you're like Patrick Surtain or someone.
There we go.
Just coming out of the gates firing, but
American Heritage hero right there.
And I think it would be better for Elam. I think his development to be sitting back there is the number 2 guy, but he's matched up, and I'll take Xavier over him any day as the cornerback 1.
Dang, yeah. I mean, Kyrie though, to jump up and have to guard Tyreek Hill, tough ask.
And the Bills also, they lost Levi Wallace, their cornerback 3. That was also a notable loss for them. They've got Teron Johnson, the slot guy, but I think it's pretty even matchup in terms of secondaries against the Bills.
Yeah, it's that's the only saving grace is that it's going to be tough going against their wide receiver core, but at least their cornerback group took a bit of a hit. When we have a little bit of room to spare there. Going against the Bengals, though, man. I wanted to go to that game. Like me and my buddies were talking about going to that game, and then Byron, we were like, "Yo, let's go! It's the Thursday night game. We'll go Wednesday to Friday. We'll make it a real quick trip." And then Byron goes on he's out for the first 4 weeks, and I'm thinking like, can we really handle Jamar Chase and T. Higgins with no monogamy?
This game versus the Bengals is the one I'm having a really tough time convincing myself that we can take. I think that is just such a tough ask to go in there and put Noah on T. Higgins. And see, that's why I'm wondering, are the Dolphins going to make a move at corner? Are we going to bring someone in? Because it was supposed to be Trill Williams, and then it was supposed to be Mackenzie Alexander. And now I'm wondering, they haven't shown a ton of confidence in their depth, I'd say, by bringing in Alexander. So I'd definitely be on the lookout for them to bring someone in.
So it's interesting. I know that there was talks of maybe getting someone like Joe Hayden, who before he went to Pittsburgh, he almost came to Miami, but he'd want to be a starter. And if Byron's only out for 4 weeks, I don't know if he's going to take that kind of deal.
I mean, Needham's a starter, man. We're not taking him out of there. And that's another thing I'm wondering. Are we going to move Needham outside, or are we just going to let him do what he does best in the slot? Because I think he'd be better off just keeping him in the slot.
I think that's what we're going to angle more for, like keeping him in the slot. He's been okay when we've moved him outside, but as a slot corner is where he thrives. Yeah, let's not move too much in the secondary.
His only experience on the outside, if I remember, was the tank for 2 a year. You know, I think Bengals is the one. That's a killer.
I should save my road trip for another week, right?
Yeah, I think so. You might not walk out of the stadium too happy that night, but who knows, man?
Yeah, because we were going to go to the Ravens game, but we've got a buddy who's a Baltimore fan, and we realized it's a conflicting interest. So some party's going to leave home very mad. That's from the stadium. We're going to have to fly home directly after the game. Not worth it. We were thinking about going to the Bengals game. I'm not going to see the Jets game. Oh, I might have to go to the West Coast. But for this first 4 games, Nico, how are we feeling before we move on further into the season? Week 1, dub against the Patriots.
How
do you feel about
that? I'm honestly pretty split on that one, because obviously last year I think we proved that we can match up well against that team. That was just amazing last year. But you wonder how will Lamar respond knowing all that stuff that we sent him that game. That was a pretty unique game plan to shut down Lamar. And you wonder if he's going to come in a little more prepared this time. They're a little healthier. That game is going to be pretty tough in my opinion too. I think I'd lean towards us taking the L there.
Yeah. We like to say Miami figured out the blueprint for how to stop Lamar. How true do you think that statement is? How much do you think it's more of the unhealthiness of the Ravens offense last year?
Well, I think it's a combination of that. Their offensive line was really bad last year, and we were just getting guys back there every single play. I mean, Phillips was feasting, Ogba was feasting. They were all making a huge impact. But
You
it's also just bad play calling, in my opinion. I mean, all the stuff they were doing, just throwing all of these screens on 3rd and long. And they obviously still have that same offensive coordinator, and that could be their downfall in that game. But another thing that I think about the Ravens is they have a really good secondary. Like they are one of the
Hamilton.
teams on the schedule that is built to take on our group of weapons.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting like test. Week 1 is a nice test for McDaniel to go up against such an experienced head coach like Belichick. But week 2 is a nice test for our wide receiver core. I like to say we have
Oh
one
yeah,
of the best receiver cores in the AFC.
definitely. I think we have
But
a top 3 receiver group in the league.
that might be a top 3 secondary.
Yeah. I
My
actually had them. I ranked the wide receiver cores and secondaries in the league. Dolphins were 3, Ravens are 3. So
Ooh,
that's a
wow.
really even matchup. So
There we
I don't really
go.
know if we're gonna get there, man. I think it's really a coin flip. But something gives me the feeling that it's gonna be a blowout for one of these teams, man.
I
I
feel
just
like
I feel like that week 1 come out, maybe get a steady, 10-point win against the Patriots. I think this one, all hell is gonna break loose for better or worse.
I could see that, and that's kind of the feeling. That's why I was like, you know what? Hey, Kizzle, we would love to visit you, man. It feels like an ugly game coming. I don't want to fight you. You don't want to fight me. Let's not go to the game. We'll watch it from our own homes. Well, he's a season ticket holder for Baltimore. He'll go to the Ravens game. It's fine. But yeah, I don't know how I feel when I break down the schedule between Baltimore and Buffalo. I like to take the easy way out, and I say between week 2 and 3, we're gonna go 1-1. If
Yeah,
we
yeah.
if we beat the Ravens, I don't know if we'll beat Buffalo, but if we lose to the Ravens, we already have to beat Buffalo, but we'll have to beat Buffalo almost even more, if that makes sense. I don't
Yeah,
want to see us go 1-2.
I think 1-2, I mean, 1-1 throughout that stretch is pretty reasonable. I'm with you, man. I think that one of those games is gonna go pretty well. One of those games is probably not gonna go too great. So
Yeah, we're not going 3-0. Like that's not.
no, that's just unrealistic, man. This
um,
is this is a pretty tough part of our schedule. I'd say it's the second toughest 4-game stretch we
yeah,
got.
2-2
Yeah,
is.
2-2, I think would be a pretty reasonable spot
I'm
for us.
not too happy. I'd love to see us go 3-1, but I think 2-2 is something very reasonable to say. And today
Yeah.
you're gonna rein me in, my friend, because
I'm gonna try to.
there are days when I'll say we're going. It's 50-year anniversary of the perfect season. We're going undefeated. We're going
Oh
all the
man.
way, man. Today we're gonna be reasonable, Nando. Thanks to Nico and the Elite Takes. Thanks for hopping on, man. So we get 2-2 so far for the first
2-2.
4 weeks. Obviously, we're beating the Jets week 5, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Pencil that one in.
That's that. My friends were like, let's go to that game. I was like, why? Like, I already have to go watch the Jets at home. Like, I don't want to go watch them again in New York. Like,
Oh
there's no
man.
point. In New Jersey. I'm sorry. I don't want to go to New Jersey for the game.
Yeah, that game last year was just. I mean, we won, but it wasn't the most exciting game in all
Yeah,
honesty.
it's always ugly. And that's the Dolphins have a nasty penchant for playing down to the level of their opponents. And it's almost like we see the Jets come to town and like, we're going to beat you, but we're going to make this a very shoddy game. And it's like, dang,
Yeah.
man, like, why? We should clobber them.
Oh yeah, I remember last year, the game in East Rutherford. Elijah Moore got that 70-yard touchdown. It's like, man, what are we doing?
I mean, I own him in my dynasty fantasy football league, so a tiny part of me was like promising signs
Oh
from
man,
Elijah Moore, but 97% of me was so frustrated that we're letting up plays like that to the Jets and Flacco, But
oh man, those 2 games against the Jets last year are ones that I'd like to forget.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I don't want to have to go watch them in person twice a year. That's insane. That's torture. So 3-2 after that stretch easily.
And
That's a
first
game where
game
I do want to.
back too.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no way we're gonna lose. Like, especially if we have lost to the Bengals week 4 off 10 days of rest. There's no way we're going to lose to the Jets. It's 3-2 lock. I want to see us clobber them. I want to see the Dolphins stop playing down to the level of their opponents. Good teams should beat bad teams, just like we destroyed the Eagles.
Yeah. I want to see that game be right in our hands by the end of the first quarter. I want us to be in command pretty quickly there, because you know how that things go with those more bottom tier teams when you let them hang around for a little too long. You don't want to get into those loud third downs. You do not want to get into those.
Hey, we need a MetLife takeover for the Dolphins, because if you let them, those Jersey Jets fans, they'll get rowdy, man. They'll get loud and proud, and it's a sight to see. But I don't want to see it happen. I want that to be the first Skylar Thompson game, because we're winning by like 60 games, 60 points.
Skylar Thompson game. If only, man. We can have Skylar throwing to Izukama for
there we go.
The second half, man. Put him in there.
Eric Izukama, there we ride. Yeah, Easy was balling in the preseason.
Oh man, yeah, that got me excited. Those two are looking like the next Burrow and Chase in preseason.
Burrow and Chase, Eric Izukama looked like, at one point I was so amped up at the game. I was like, "There's a young Randy Moss out there." He looked like he was dominating people. I mean, and then I realized, oh dang, half these corners are gonna get cut. But like, for
that
brief
Raiders
time,
game was fun, man.
The Raiders game,
no shame in getting worked up over that. That was a fun second half.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, young Randy out there, bro. On command, he would just just get open. But I hope to see him sprinkled in as a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 3 at this point. In the right packages. It's week 5 at this point in the season. He'll be acclimated to the NFL.
And, it's probably inevitable that one of our 3 guys is going to be inactive at this point in the season. I mean,
at some point. Mm-hmm.
He'll step in. He'll start at least one game this year for sure. I'm confident about that.
Dude, he's a great personality, man. Like, he was at training camp, and they always do like at the end of the day, like a positional group will come and sign the balls, or like sign hats, sign a little merch for fans. And at the end, they'll do a little whistle, and players are like, "Oh, I got to go." And I understand they've got to go to player meeting. They just run away. But Eric Izukama kept saying, one more. One more. Like, he kept telling the lady, like, yo, one more. Like, I'm about to leave. And he signed like 15 people's extra hats. I was like, what a guy, man. Like, smiling, braces and all. Just so happy to be there. Just like, that's awesome. And like, it was right after the Raiders game. People were like, this guy's the guy, And so I love that he fed into it instead of being like, no, I just got to go. He was like, let me enjoy the spotlight. So let's go.
Yeah, he's ready, man. That was a very under the radar pickup. I had no idea that guy was so ready to maybe even have a decent role on this team when we picked him.
Yeah, it looked like a luxury pick at the time. I mean, he's like 6'3", like 230 pounds, like runs like a 4.5 out of Texas Tech. But like, we were like, why do we need him when we have Tyreek and like Cedric Wilson and Jalen Waddle?
Those were my exact thoughts, man. I thought we were going running back, and then we pick him, and I'm like, oh man, who knows?
There we go. And it worked out. I mean, he did have a couple of plays out of the backfield at Tech, so if you could do that in the NFL too, well, why not let it fly, man?
I mean, especially back then when we didn't really know how low the Dolphins front office was on Lynn Bowden and Preston Williams. So if we had known that back then, I think I would have been able to realize a little more where that pick came from. And now I definitely do.
That's an excellent point that I hadn't even thought of. Yeah, we were probably since the beginning, Wes Welker realized these chaps were just not the guys. And he was like, let's
Preston, man. He really played himself out of the picture, man.
Yeah, he probably looked at a week's worth of Preston Williams film and said, we're drafting Eric Izukama. There we go. Bye. Done, Preston. Bye-bye. Wes, yep. We want to suit up, Wes? There we go. Welker, let it run. But hey, it's 3-2 after the Jets. 3-2. We get the Vikings. It's fan week now for Dolphins come back to home. How do you think we do against Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, man?
That's a tough one. I think that the Vikings, they have a really nice all-around squad. They've got the first-year coach. They've got really good weapons on offense. But they do have a little bit of a shaky offensive line, and that's something we could exploit.
They traded Jesse Davis.
Jesse Davis, man. I would feel a lot better if Jesse Davis was on the field, man. That bummed me out. I was looking forward to the hey, we get the Jesse Davis return next week, but we'll get to
Yeah,
that in a minute.
exactly.
I'm pretty high on the Vikings this year, and I think we've got a little bit of an easier stretch coming up. So I'll say we take the L there, man. I'll say that we take the L.
Okay, there we go. See, Homer me would take the W, but we'll go down the Nico road. I won't debate you on that because that is a game where I have a little fear, especially as a guy who owns Justin Jefferson in Dynasty. I've watched this kid grow. You know, the fourth overall
He's
pick in
just
my draft.
unbelievable,
He's been a
man.
monster, man. I was clowned out for that pick, and Justin Jefferson has developed and blossomed into one of the best receivers in the NFL. He wants to have the most receiving yards in the season. So if it's like week 6 and he's on track for that, he's tearing teams up. I could see us taking an L. It would suck for fan week though. But
Yeah, that'd be a bummer. That's a game I'm pretty excited for. If we can come out with a win
I think
there.
it'd be close.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a nail biter. And we remember the last time the Vikings came to town, we had the game-winning safety.
That's what I'm saying. I could see like some end of the game antics like that. Something that's just like Dolphins are either winning and all of a sudden we lose it. Or
Oh yeah, that's
typical Dolphins. But
that's a really interesting one. But hey,
I'll go with the L. Let's do it. We're 3-3.
we got 3-3. Yeah,
3-3. It's respectable. You see, guys, we have no homer course today. You know, the tinfoil hats over there. We're good to go. We're staying in the reasonable lane today. No conspiracy theories. We're good to go. 3-3. Steelers, my friend, though, I think we clobber. Okay, I think.
Oh yeah, that's one where I'm really hoping for a massacre on Sunday Night Football. That is our chance to come out and make a statement because once you're at 3-3, that's really where your season is going to go downhill very quickly, fall under 500, or take the dub, go to 4-3, and I think we're going to come out really, really fired up. First Sunday Night Football game in Miami in a while, man.
Oh yeah.
I remember before the schedule came out, I was like, man, the last one was just that kind of disappointing game versus the Raiders. I really hope we get a Sunday night game this year. And the fact that we got one at home, I'm excited. I think we take that one pretty handily.
Oh yeah, it's the Dolphins are back in the spotlight for that one. I said my three favorite games entering the season were week 1 against the Patriots, week 7 against the Steelers, and then that Christmas in Miami game, which we'll talk about.
And the Brian Flores return too.
The Brian Flores return. That storyline, man. He's the linebackers coach. We have to destroy them. We have to drop like 50 points on their defense.
We have to prove that we made the right decision right then and there, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's Brian Flores is over there. They got Jesse Davis just back in a trade, like it's literally all the things that prove the Brian way. I mean, Minka's over there, so it's always I want to always beat Minka as well.
Oh yeah, man, I'm really now realizing how kind of much the storylines are going to collide here. This really is everything of the Brian Flores era versus everything about the new look Dolphins, man.
Oh yeah, this is a game where Xavier Howard's going to come into the locker room. He's like, "Yo, I'm one of the oldest guys in here. I've seen the change of this team. We've got to smack these guys. There's like 4 or 5 ghosts haunting us on the Steelers, and we got to put them to rest, man. Like, yeah, it'll be interesting.
And that will be really fun if we can take that one, and I think we will. So 4-3.
That's the one where you got to invite the homies to Casa Nico, and you got to be like, hey, come watch my Dolphins put on a show, guys. It's going to be a spectacle down here. And
oh yeah,
you think that's the statement game? Week 7.
Yeah, I think that's a game where we could really get some national attention because I believe first 6 games of the season, the only one that will be nationally broadcasted is the Bengals one. And we talked about how we're not feeling like that could be a great representation of the Dolphins. So this is the one that really counts as a chance to get some national respect.
Oh, yeah. I'm hoping for the Bengals game. We do put up a fight. I think we'll lose by more than a score just because of our secondary doesn't really match up well with their offense. But I agree. Prime time against the Steelers, first Sunday night football game at home in a long time. It's time for the Dolphins to
right. Yeah.
There you go. You think we get a Do we get a big, not a blowout per se, but like a nice maybe 2-score lead, three
I'm
score?
thinking like a 30-13 type of win.
There
That
we
would be
go,
nice.
Nico. I would love that. I would. Oh my god! Like this,
That would be great.
I've gone to the Dolphins Giants Monday Night Football game a couple years back.
Oh, yeah.
The Odell Jarvis
Odell.
game. That was beautiful. We lost that game. I was at the Ravens Dolphins Thursday Night Football game. That was amazing. Hold on, my dogs. Actually, I'm just gonna power. Oh no, they're going crazy. But the Thursday Night Football game against the Ravens, that was so much fun. One of the best football experiences I've been to.
That was, I can't even imagine being at that game. I was just going nuts on my couch, man. That was just phenomenal, man.
From finding out that Tua wasn't going to play, and then he played, like just walking in defeated into the stadium, and then just getting electrified and coming and watching him go in. Oh my God!
We looked like we were heading for a top 3 pick at that point, and that was the start of the resurgence.
That's when we came alive, man. And that's what I'm hoping. That's something like a spark kind of statement game for us in Sunday Night Football. That kind of atmosphere, that kind of energy, completely different, something we haven't seen. And I need it from our Miami Dolphins, man. 30-13, Nico, would be so choice.
That would be perfect, man.
That'd be perfect, man. And I would love to see that. I'd be, wow. They'd have to kick me out of Hard Rock. I'd probably be up and down. And I'm a season ticket holder, so I'd be stuck in my seats, man. This is my house. Let's go. Every single Steeler until the last one trickles out of the stadium, man. That 30-13.
I have high hopes for that night. That is a lot of potential for the Dolphins.
Damn, lock it in, man. That's gonna stay in my heart for a while, man. 30-13. Next game though, we're going on the road again. So we're 4-3 now. Lions and the Bears. How do you think we go on our little NFC North journey?
I think that the Lions is a game there's this teeny bit of worry. I mean, the Lions are obviously not don't have the best history. We had that fun game, 8 years ago with the Brett Grimes famous interception.
That was such a crazy picture.
Yeah, that was super iconic. They got a solid all-around team. They'll be well coached. That one would be competitive, but I'll give us the dub there. And the Bears, man, the Bears are horrible. I have no worries about that game. Horrible secondary. Maybe not horrible secondary, but a clear mismatch there. Bad offense all around. Bad offensive line. I think we take care of business there. So Lions, wouldn't be surprised if that one gets pretty nerve-wracking, but the Bears, I'm confident. And I'll say that we take both. So 6-3.
6-3.
Man, that's a good spot to be in.
That's a good spot to be in, man. I know that when we go to the West Coast for the Chargers-Niners game, McDaniel wants to stay over there. I'm kind of hoping same thought process for the Lions-Bears game. Detroit and Chicago are so close to each other. Hope we just go from Detroit straight to Chicago, ease the little journey, and just get acclimated or whatever.
And, luckily it's not like one of those deep into December games against the Bears. That's where I think there could be some problems. November, it'll be a little chilly, but if we stick around there in the north, get acclimated, I think we'll just be fine. There's no real weather advantage for the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, barring an insane random snow game, I think that's it's like I think it's like the first week of November that game maybe.
Yep.
So yeah, we should be fine. It's not the weather's not too nasty by then. I agree. Nothing too crazy weather advantage. 6-3. Bam. Is the Bears offense really that bad? As someone who
it's pretty bad.
Dang, bro. Poor Justin
Bad
Fields.
Weapons. I think Justin Fields, I like him, but the weapons and the offensive line and the coaching, it seems like a bad combo, man.
Yeah, I don't know much about this Ebner guy. I think his name is, or like Egber, or I don't know. Eberflus. I don't know this new Bears coach.
Yeah.
Eberflus, yeah.
He was kind of one of those more uninspiring hires of the offseason.
Nice.
Not a real big splash there, so.
I mean, I just botched his name like 6 times, so I think it's pretty safe to say he's not the splashiest guy. But dang, sucks for Justin Fields. Might have to drop in my dynasty league later, but we'll do that after the.
Oh, you might keep him around.
No, I know he's like QB4 on the squad, man. It's okay. We got Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Trey Lance. For Fields can ride the bench for a while. We'll see how it goes. But I'll take that dub, man. 6-3. I think we have it so far. Yeah, there we go. So against the Browns, no
Deshaun Watson, Monday Night Football, not Monday Night Football. Man, I'm confusing myself with the rumors. This was supposed to be a Monday night game, but
if he came back, because that's what the suspension was supposed to be. But it got extended, so it is the Jacoby Bowl now.
The Jacoby Bowl. And if anyone knows how to attack the weaknesses of Jacoby Brissett, it's the Miami Dolphins, man. We've seen it for ourselves.
It's going to be an ugly
If Brian Flores was around, I will say, who knows how great we would be in general, but I know this game would go really well for us, and I still think it will. I think we exploit we challenge him to make those questionable decisions. This is a game where Xavier's getting a pick. I say we take it.
Oh, yeah. This is a big Xavier Howard game. Again, this is another game where I see him charging in the locker room and saying, there's no way we're going to let Jacoby Brissett beat us. I refuse. Like, we won't be on national TV, but you know that game is something that the national media is going to be focusing on. Talk about ammo, man. If Jacoby Brissett comes into Miami and somehow leads a dub over Tua Tagovailoa, all they're going to talk about is
no. Oh no.
Like, I think if anything, it'd be on the backs of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Oh yeah,
they're the only ones who
and
scare
Myles
me.
Garrett, man, we got Armstead, but who knows? They might just shift Myles Garrett over to the right side and let him take on Austin Jackson. And okay, the game is lost there if that's what ends up happening.
See, when I was like little and I didn't realize that the defensive line can just shift however it wants, I thought it was like, oh, boom, tackle pairs up with the end, we're good to go. And then you realize, oh, Myles Garrett doesn't have to play fair and be like, okay, I'll play against Teron Armstead. No, he's just going to shift to the other side. He's like, I'll attack Austin Jackson. This is going to be a fun day.
And they have a really good secondary too. So I'm not going to lock this one in, but I do think that we'll have a good game plan for Jacoby and take it.
Yeah, if Jacoby Brissett is still the starter, barring any crazy quarterback move they make, if Jacoby is the starter, I think we win. Like, it's like almost a must win for the team.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a crippling blow entering the bye week, coming off a Jacoby win.
Hey, but we'd still be 6-4, so we got ourselves a bit of a cushion here. 6-4 isn't horrible, but 7-3, man, we're in business.
7-3 is, I think, what we're more leaning towards. That's beautiful, man. 7-3 entering into the bye week. Oof. So there we go, man. I think we're in pretty nice shape entering week 11. I love that bye week also. So many times the Dolphins have such an early bye week and it's useless.
Or such a late one.
Yeah, or such a late one. Everyone's dead by the time that we get the bye week. It doesn't even matter. It's
Perfect
like,
timing, in my opinion.
Perfect timing. It really bisects the season. Lets us have like a little midway point almost to regroup, refocus. And even in the worst case, that we're going to stretch more like a 4-6 or something, a little bit like more desperate, like a 5-5. We're at 7-3, but that bye week gives us a little chance to maybe flip the season around. You know?
Oh yeah,
but 7-3, we're pretty.
I think that the absolute going through the game so far, I think that the absolute worst case scenario would be 4-6, and even that isn't like our season is over. We still have a chance to bounce back. Yeah,
exactly. After that, we still have those 7 games. You know, even at 4-6, it'd be tough. We'd have to run the table, but we've got on a 7-game win streak before. You know.
Oh yeah.
So if we had a little part 2 of that magic, which is what's beautiful about the bye.
2-7.
Oh, exactly. A lot better than 2-7. 4-6, you finish up at 11-6. It's not the worst record to have, you know. It's a massive improvement.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm so confident about this season. But 7-3 entering the bye, that's beautiful. That's what I had as also too beforehand. So I'm glad we naturally ended our way there too. Didn't have to a little argue around too much. So there we go. 7-3. I like that. We got a knowledgeable mind like Nico out here. We got a full sense around the NFL. So that's very reassuring, man. You got the Texans, though, Davis Mills. And I know you went to the little Texans training camp, man. So does any man I trust on his Texans judgment? It is you.
Man, the
How's
Texans they're building something decent there. I really think that they are on the rise, but that is like the least talented team in the league. They're not the yeah.
I thought you were going to keep praising them.
I think that they've got a lot of young talent, but in terms of just group by group, man, they have the spirit. They just don't have the guys right now, especially on offense. They got some nice defensive rookies back there in the secondary, but we have such a big talent mismatch here. I think we're going to take it.
No, dang. I really thought you were going to keep they're building something. I thought we were going to talk up, Davis Mills and everything. That's pretty fair analysis, though. As much as they are building, it's because they have a lot of room to build.
A lot of assets.
A lot of assets.
In the next 2 years. They own the entire Browns draft. I mean, just think that could have been us, man.
That could have been us, man.
They could have been owning our picks for the next 3 years, but we've really lucked out there. So,
dude, thankfully, I'm glad you agree with that, man. I'm glad we didn't sacrifice our entire franchise's future. The Texans needed the picks, though. I feel like that's also why they're so talent deprived, though. Talent deprived, yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's because just freaking.
They're waiting to bring in the talent over the next few years. So
now's when they'll absorb, but it doesn't really help them.
With this 2-year stretch playing the Texans, we really lucked out. We hit them right in the lowest part of their timeline. So 2 straight years with a dub against the Texans, that feels decent, man.
Oh, yeah. They won't be able to get revenge for a while, too. They'll be nice and locked and loaded probably at that time.
We'll see them down the road when the Dolphins go to Houston in, 2026?
Yeah, Davis Mills on his 6th Pro Bowl, maybe second All-Pro. He'll be nice and thriving there. Greatest 3rd-round pick of all time. Yes, Russell Wilson, it's not you anymore. It's Davis Mills. We'll see how it goes. I think it's a dub, though, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're talking about 2026 for the Texans to be good, that's doesn't really help them for week 12 of the NFL.
Oh, man. Yeah, 2026, man. Better buckle up.
Buckle up. Oof. Hey, man, I know the people in your area might not really like that, Nico, talking on the Texans.
Better not show them this episode just for that, but
don't worry, my tens of watchers out here will surely get this to the news of them in Houston, but it's okay, man. Well, that puts us at 8-3. Wow, beautiful spot for the Dolphins to be at.
That would just be like heaven, man.
Oh, I would be so damn. I'm about it. I almost had some tears coming out my eyes. We're just ready to go right now. Now we go to the West Coast. This next 3 game. Honestly, this next 4 game stretch is pretty tough, man. But on the road, we get 3 games. The West Coast stretch of the Niners and then the Chargers. How do you feel about that?
This is the part of the schedule where I think this is why we need to build that cushion, because
I agree.
Because I think that Kyle Shanahan, he's gonna outcoach Mike McDaniel, man. I'm sorry, I just don't see a scenario where we got the more clever guy on our side, and they've got an amazing pass rush. So I'm not feeling great about that one. And the Chargers are so talented; they might be the second most talented team in the league. So, man, I would be thrilled if we could pull out one of these, because I think that this is, one of the toughest 4-game stretches in the entire league for any team.
Oh, it's so tough. And I agree. I like that you say pull out one of them. I agree. That West Coast little trip between the 49ers and the Chargers, I think we have to win one, and we are only going to win one. It's foolish to think we're going to go 2-0 over that. I'm in agreement with you that I don't think we're going to beat the 49ers. Shanahan, it'll be a nice former master student little battle. But I do think that Shanahan's just going to know what Mike McDaniels is going to call, and he's just going to outcoach him in the slightest. He's going to beat him. But due to that, and then staying in the West Coast, McDaniels just going to be a little ticked off, and he's going to go into LA, go against the Chargers, And this is where we put the homer hat on, Nico.
Oh boy, this is the big one, man.
Tua Tagovailoa versus
galore.
Justin Herbert. Narrative galore. The boys will know. We cannot let Tua Tagovailoa down. We cannot let the QB1 down. We can't let him lose to Justin Herbert. He has never lost to J Herb. He can't lose now. We'll let Tua win in what's going to be one of the biggest games of Justin Herbert's career and Tua's. And we know Justin Herbert doesn't exactly always thrive in the spotlight, little choke McGee. Tua Tagovailoa, on the other hand, is a spotlight king, national champion, huzzah. So can we see you think we can see a little Tua pull out a win in the Chargers, or is there no hope? Should we focus on the 49ers?
I think I think our best bet is really the 49ers here. I think that the Chargers are just, yes, Justin Herbert has not been great under the lights, but now they have so many different guys to
their defense is so nice now.
That.
I saw your little video on the Chargers. There, I know Derwin James, man. They got the Bosa back there again, bro. They had Khalil Mack. They finally complemented their great offense with the nice defense on paper.
Yeah, I just really hope that Tua can, at the very least, not get severely outplayed. If this can be an even quarterback matchup, win or lose, I'll take it.
I agree. I think that's a win in itself. If you walk out of that game, you can't clearly say that Justin Herbert outplayed Tua. You can even walk out in there and say, like, dang, I see why Tua got drafted over Justin Herbert. Even if we lose, that's a win in itself. That's to know that our 5th overall pick hung with the 6th overall pick finally, instead of losing because of Tua. I'll take that. You think we have a better chance against San Francisco, though?
Yes, I think that is a game. I mean, obviously we had a great performance against them 2 years ago back in San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
That was a fun one. So hopefully we can replicate that one. But I think this stretch is one where if we're not going in with that 8-3 record, it's going to be tough. I think this is the stretch of games where we can afford some losses, and we're destined to take some. Man, we can't really hold up. I mean, we're on a 5-game winning streak.
Yeah, if we go,
it's gonna be tough for that to develop into 6 or 7.
So you think we drop both those games on the West Coast, or we go 1-1?
I think we're gonna drop both, but
there we
still,
go. 8-5 is still pretty to be at.
We're still in the playoffs, man. We're still in.
That's what I'm saying. 8-5, we're still right in the hunt. If you told me the Dolphins are 8-5, I can't remember the last time the Dolphins were 8-5. So I just tried to do it off the top of my head and make a joke. It's been maybe in my Madden franchise. So against Buffalo, though, that's a weird game. I do think we're gonna split with Buffalo. So in this world, if we beat them,
we already beat them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think we'll
we're
lose,
not sweeping Buffalo.
No way.
Man. No way.
It's not happening.
I'd be thrilled. I'd be pretty elated to come out with a split this year against that team, because that's the best team in the league, man. I don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think they're going to be probably the best regular season team. So
they're pretty nasty, man. Like, especially when they get Tre'Davious White back.
No, yeah, Tre'Davious White back, loaded receiver room, Josh Allen, loaded defense. That's going to be tough. And in the winter, man, it might be snowing in that game. And we know who has the advantage in that. So,
yeah, and they're built more for the run now this year. I know they got like some offensive linemen from the Titans.
Oh yeah, Roger Saffold. So, and they've got some young guys out there that should take a leap. So, it would be an absolute miracle, in my opinion, to come out with a win there.
Oh yeah. So, we'll go to 8-6.
Yeah.
I love that you said miracle, though, because now we got Christmas in Miami.
Yeah.
I think we get a little Christmas miracle going, man. And especially after a tough stretch of games, which I think we're hanging tough in these games. Our boys are battling. They're going out to the West Coast, and they're going into one-score games against Shanahan, against the Chargers, going up to Buffalo and playing a gritty snow game. They come to Miami. I think that's finally where we snap back with the win. against the
Yes,
Packers?
yes. I have a good feeling about this game, man.
There we go, Nico.
I think Christmas in Miami, it just feels good, man. I feel optimistic going into that one. I think that we can capitalize on the Packers having very little weapons on offense. Their defense is going to be tough, man. They've got a really good defense, but that's one where I think that we can grind it out and maybe slip away with like a 24-20 win, man. I think we can take that one. And it would be a big upset. I mean, Christmas, everyone's watching. That would be really fun.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I think it'd be like a little upset, 24-20. Maybe we're down 20-17. You ask Tua to lead a game-winning drive down the field.
Man.
You think he's going to go for the field goal? Bam, bing. Jalen Waddle out there. You see him lead a little Bama connection, a little touchdown, 24-20. Aaron Rodgers after the game goes up to Tua, does a little helmet-to-helmet picture. He's whispering to him. He's like, "You're that guy, man. You're the future of the league. I'm glad to pass my strongest arm in the league to you, Tua Tagovailoa, new deep threat maven of the."
That would be amazing. That would be amazing.
It'd be an iconic photo to say the least, man. To see little Rodgers and Tua in the center. And honestly, I think
too.
I think they're gonna be really close though. I like that 24-20 little script. More than a field goal, but very close, man. Their defense is pretty nice though. After Jair Alexander, who's like their second corner?
They've got Eric Stokes, who had a really good rookie season. They got Rasul Douglas, who really wasn't that great of a player until he came there, but last year he was like statistically one of the best corners in the league. They got a solid safety room. That's a great secondary, man.
Yeah.
But something about this game just feels like we're gonna rise to the occasion.
A little miracle.
About it. Not a miracle. The Bills would be a miracle. This would be a tough win, but one that I think we can take.
I like that.
But we can call it a miracle just to make it more dramatic.
Christmas magic.
Christmas magic.
Not a miracle, but definitely a tough win. It's something that late in the season you'd love to see the team bounce back from. At this point we'd be 9-6. It's the Dolphins showing some life again. It's like, there we go. That's our fourth tough opponent in a row, but we bounce back. Sometimes it's got to give back to us. It's at home. It's the right time for it to do it. And I'm hoping
look at it this way, man. That is the absolute worst case scenario in this 4-game stretch, and we're still walking out at 9-6.
That's beautiful.
If we could be 10-5 for all we know, but 9-6, man, we'll take it. We'll take it.
9-6
we're guaranteed. We are guaranteed to at least equate to the past few years. So we're guaranteed to not be a disappointment, I guess.
Yeah, that winning record guaranteed at 9-6. That's awesome for the Dolphins already. Hats off to Mike McDaniel in our future world of already having his first winning season as a head coach. Then we go to Foxborough. I'd love to see us sweep the Patriots again. I think we can, but do you think I'm just being a little bit of a homer again, Nico, or is this a game where we drop against the Pats?
I think the Patriots, in all honesty, are just not a great team this year.
I agree.
I think there are obvious mismatches there, but something about this just feels like trouble is coming, man. Something about this, it's gonna be freezing. This will be Tua's first time in the winter in Foxborough. So that's something interesting to think about.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm really split on this one. I think it could go either way. But just to be realistic and, kind of think of it as the way where this is our floor, I'll say we drop it. I'll say we go to 9-7.
9-7. I like that.
Which normally would be the end of the season, but we still got a chance to get to double digits.
Yeah. I think there's a chance we can beat the Patriots, but I agree. There's something there's something funky about that game where it feels like Bill Belichick's going to go, okay, I'm not going to go 4-0 against Tua, not beat the Dolphins in like 2 years, Bill Belichick's got some pride. I could see him pulling out all the stops and saying, especially if the Patriots season doesn't look to be the best, that's almost like a Bill Belichick's got to pump the brakes, show some life in him, and be the Dolphins.
And at this point in his career, Tua is 4-0 against the Patriots, and we know that 5-0 would just if he goes 5-0 versus Bill Belichick, man, he's a franchise quarterback at its finest.
Honestly,
but it's bound to happen at some point. I'll say that he drops a strike of doom on us here, and we drop it.
There we go. Now we're at 9-7, and we get the last game of the season against the Jets.
This one is at home too. So.
Oh, and it's at home. We end the season strong with the win. Sorry, New York Jets. We go 10-7.
That's our one team. So we would go 4-2 in the division. That seems pretty realistic.
Yeah, that's what we went last year. We improved by splitting with the Bills. We drop them with the Pats. I'm much happier with that 4-2.
Oh yeah, I'm much happier with getting one against the Bills and just playing down to the Pats at some point.
Yeah,
that's a better outlook.
That's more fair. It's most teams when they play their divisional matchups, it's always pretty split. It's pretty tough. The fact that the Bills have been beating us that handily in the last couple of years has been concerning. So if we can bring it back to 1-1, even if we've got to sacrifice the game to the Pats, I'm all for it. That's the better outcome for me. As long as we can keep sweeping the Jets, man.
Yeah.
The New York Jets have not won an AFC East game since 2019.
Oh, man.
So at this point of the season, they still haven't won. It'll be all up to the Dolphins to make sure that we keep that streak alive. That'd be beautiful.
Get one on the Patriots by this point, though. We'll see.
Hey, I mean, I hope so. For their sake, man, that'll be the first Jets AFC East win this decade. So
Jets fans aren't the worst. I wouldn't be mad with them getting a little bit of happiness there by taking down the Patriots. So.
Yeah, it'll spite the Patriots. That's what I'm saying. As long as someone has to lose to the Jets, it's going to happen. So I'd rather it be the Patriots. It'd be like, haha. So clown them a little bit more. But 10-7, man, that's pretty.
So we finally get over the hump. 9-8, 2 years, 9-7, 9-8, 2 years straight. We finally get to the double-digit mark.
Finally, the double digits in McDaniel's first season, 10-7, and I think we played this pretty safe as well. We try to be very realistic with the wins. I wouldn't say this is like our floor because obviously there's injuries. We could have a totally shoddier season,
but this is a little on the lower end of range of outcomes, and I think that because our schedule is pretty tough. But man, I could totally see us getting 11, man. I could.
11 would be amazing.
If we could, win one of those games in California, like he said, that's 11 wins right there.
That'd be the game changer right there. I agree.
That's what changes us. That's decides if we are a playoff lock or not. If we can make it out of California with one of those wins. But 10-7, man, we're gonna be right on the cusp. I don't know if that gets us in. I don't know if that leaves us out. But it's right there, and I'd be pretty proud.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'd be pretty proud. 10-7. I assume that we had a fine offensive and defensive showing. Mike McDaniel showed very nice promise as his first year coach. I'm proud. Do you think it's enough, or you think we're right on we might have to get more than 10 wins?
Honestly, I wish I could give you an answer to that, but I really don't know. I think you could say we're the 7 seed because let's see. So the Chiefs, Bills, Chargers, pretty much all locked in to be those top 3 seeds. Then you probably got to sprinkle in the Broncos and the AFC South winners. So there's 5. And then for those final 2 teams in the playoffs, it's between us, in my opinion, the Raiders. One of the Bengals or the Ravens too. I think it's gonna be us, the Raiders, and one of those AFC North teams for those final 2 spots. And realistically, I think it's us versus the Raiders for that final spot.
There we go. That's gonna be tough. We just gotta hope that the AFC West beats itself up a little bit more, and then the Raiders drop a bit more games. And I'm hoping the Dolphins take that spot from them, man. I'd agree with that. That'd be tough. Regardless, if we're even contending for a spot like that,
Oh yeah.
something where we've done all we can, and then it just matters on the rest of the NFL. I'm pretty proud of the Dolphins.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that would be a really, really nice way to close out year one of the Mike McDaniel era. And shut down a lot of stuff and prove that this is 10-7 with a really tough schedule. I don't think this really. I think it proves that the Dolphins have solidified themselves as one of the truly good teams in the NFL, not just a mediocre team, but a good team. And we've been mediocre for so long. I think this is a big step for us.
Massive step in the right direction. If before the season you have us ranked like 16th, about like if we finish 10-7, I don't know if we'll make the playoffs. Let's say we were one of the last teams to get in, one of the last teams to be out, right on that little cusp.
So yeah, 14, 15, 16, that's still above average, man. Yeah. As long as we can be in the top half of the league, I'll be happy with that. I'll be satisfied.
Do you think we'll have, in that future world, do you think we would have improved more than the 16th team at like 10-7, or do you think we're still
I think we'd be 15 or 14, yeah, because the NFC is a little weaker, so I assume the last team out of the playoffs there will be worse than us. Probably the 49ers, Cowboys, Vikings, one of those teams. So we're right in that tier, I'd say, with the 49ers and the Cowboys and the Vikings of the world, probably.
Dang, that'd be beautiful, man. I'd really love to see that for the Dolphins, man.
Because we've been in the tier with like the Steelers and those types of mediocre teams for so long. So yeah, that's a big step for us.
Yeah, like you said, getting over the hump. We get to the double-digit wins. Hopefully some playoff action. Do you think it's necessary to win a playoff game or just get into the show?
No, I think that's probably a little too much to ask, especially because we're not winning the AFC East. It's going to be a road game. And man, a lot of really tough home opponents that we'd either have to storm into Kansas City or LA for a do-over or Buffalo. That just doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
Yeah. I almost, a small part of me, and you could call this cowardly all you want, like a small part of me doesn't want to see that happen.
Oh, like, no, I totally feel you. I think it'd be great if we could get that 5th seed and go to Indianapolis. Now we're talking.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, yeah. I was like,
I'd rather do over from last year.
I'd rather either play I'd rather play the Titans or the Colts. But if we're gonna just go into the playoffs and get matched up against the Chiefs or the Bills, it's almost like, do I want to see the Dolphins get smacked like the Patriots did last year? Like I don't know how much.
Do we want it to be a do-over of 2016 either? Like, man.
Yeah, that's just to get my hopes up for nothing. But it's a fun season, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of advantages no matter how the season goes. I think there are a lot of steps forward for this team that are noticeable. And eventually we know one of those top contenders in the AFC will fizzle out and it'll be our time to really be legit.
Yeah, as long as we keep improving, our players keep growing, they'll be good to ride, man.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty for the Dolphins. We talked a lot about some football teams as well. Is there anything else on the Dolphins or around the NFL you'd want to cover, Nico? Or
I was hoping that maybe there'd be some Dolphins news today that we could talk about or notable news around the league, but it's been a pretty quiet day, man.
Yeah, it's been nothing too crazy, man. I mean, I like just like the offense, like you talk about moves. I thought maybe we got Trey Sermon or something.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been cool. But
that would have been cool. I mean, I don't love that bottom end of our running back room with Gaskin and Ahmed. I think we could toss one of those guys out the window, and you would not hear a complaint from me for Sermon, because we need. One of the things we're kind of lacking right now is a bigger goal line back, and Sermon's pretty big. I mean, we cut Michelle, who was kind of big, but Evans and Mostert are kind of tiny. But they're good for their own things. But if we can get a bruiser for those short yardage situations to replace Jacoby Brissett. Our goal line running back last year was Jacoby Brissett, by the way. So
that's an absolutely insane statement to say. Like, with a straight face, like, who's your best weapon on fourth down or on the goal line? Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby
What?
Brissett.
It's like,
Oh,
come on.
Tua got benched. Fourth down, they're bringing in Brissett. They don't trust him. That was a comical
The
time.
stadium, man, when you were just there and just watching Tua come off, like I'm in the nosebleeds in the 300s, and even I can tell it's about to be a run play because Jacoby Brissett's going in the field. You don't think a defensive coordinator knows what we're about to do?
Oh, man.
And it's not even like, if you had told me we had signed Cam Newton off the street just for this position, I've been like, okay, because it's Cam Newton. But you're not going to tell me Jacoby Brissett is this.
Jacoby Brissett, man.
Yeah. The brisket is not getting that first down, man. It's not happening over here. You know?
I can't even remember what our fourth down conversion rate. Luckily, I don't think we had any like fourth downs go painfully wrong for us, because I know he converted that 2-point conversion against the Raiders to send it to overtime. Or no, he ran it in for the touchdown against the Raiders in the bottom of the fourth quarter. So we lucked out. It could have been a lot worse, but I do not want a quarterback to be our goal line ball carrier anymore.
Yeah,
that just doesn't scream a serious approach to the game, in my opinion.
I don't like, unless you're giving me prime Cam Newton or Michael Vick back there, and you're just resurrecting their careers or something. It's not happening. No. Trey Sermon would be interesting though, man. I know he kind of flared out a little bit in San Fran. I think he'd fit that power role. I was surprised when we cut Dokes and Sony. I told you I went to American Heritage, so Sony was the guy who won the first high school state championship for us. That was crazy to see. I'm a big Sony guy.
Oh yeah.
So I was sad when he got cut.
That was a bummer.
But I think Trey Sermon could fit that role. How is he as a runner though? Like I didn't really see too much of him.
Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, the Eagles actually ended up claiming him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just remembered that. But who knows? He's just on their practice squad right now. So
hey, okay.
He get released at any moment. So it's still worth talking about.
There we go. If they don't protect him, maybe some injuries happen. We could see Mike McDaniel claim one of his former young backs. As for the rest of the O-line,
scouted.
Yeah, he could get scouted. As for the rest of the offense, though, is there anything in particular that you want to highlight or anything that concerns you maybe?
I mean, I think really what comes down to it with this offense is we know what we're going to get from the weapons. We relatively know what we're going to get from Tua. I think he's going to be playing it at about an average level this year. And the offensive line is the wild card here. It's the elephant in the room.
It's scary to see, man. We know we'll have Teron Armstead. We'll have Robert Hunt at right guard.
Robert Hunt. Those are the two things I'm confident will not be problems whatsoever.
Not at all, man. Robert Hunt's one of the funniest people.
Connor Williams playing a new position with those snapping issues that we've seen throughout the preseason and training camp. And you've also got some combination of Eichenberg and Jackson. I'm a little more confident that I'm a little more willing to be patient with Eichenberg. I'm not totally convinced that he's just a bad player. I am convinced that Austin Jackson is just a bad player, but
yeah, he's got a lot to develop, man. Both of these guys do. I was surprised when we cut Kinley.
Yeah, and did we bring him back? I don't think we have.
I could check right
well
now.
In the preseason, man. That was a bit of a bummer in my opinion, but also we cut Deitch, the undrafted free agent, who we gave a decent amount of guaranteed money. I don't know, man. I hope that's a sign of confidence, really. I think that's the only way you can interpret it, but
yeah, no, it has to be like a Johnny confidence. Yeah, Solomon Kinley's still a free agent, which is wild to me.
We cut Larnell Coleman too, which fine with me.
I think he made the practice squad.
Oh, he did make the practice squad. Okay. Sort of a demotion though.
Yeah, it's still a demotion. We cut Blaze Andres, another undrafted free agent. He had like the cool electric moment, like the first training camp with with this little Stone Cold
with the beer cans. Yeah,
I was awesome. He had an epic little mustache too, man. He seemed like he was gonna be a fun fun offensive piece. We didn't pick him up on the practice squad either. It seems to be that Matt Applebaum's confident in the O line, so
Yeah.
we'll give him the benefit of the
And I
doubt.
trust him, man. I always thought that was a great hire. Boston College always has these great offensive lines. So,
Yeah, they're producing Lindstrom. They had a
they
couple
had
guards, I think, in the
Zion
NFL.
Johnson, the first rounder.
Zion Johnson. Dang, he's in the
Hunter
first
Long.
round. Wow.
Hunter Long was a great blocking tight end out of college.
There we
We'll
go,
see what
Hunter
happens with Gesicki, man. But I think
I saw you traded him in your franchise, you know.
I did trade him in my franchise, but that was only because he's just not very good in Madden.
Oh no,
but
yeah, I agree. Tight end in Madden is
he has a
never.
role. He has a role on this team. I think they'd like to keep him around, just at least to experiment. I mean, he's on a franchise tag. Like,
Yeah.
what is the worry? If he wants to be a Dolphin, and it seems like he does, I think it's worth keeping him around and testing him in this new scheme. But yeah, the offensive line, it's really going to come down to Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg.
I'm going to be nice to Liam Eichenberg this year.
Yeah.
My friend dated him at Notre Dame, so I was saying pretty. Yeah, sure, she dumped him, but like I was saying some pretty heinous stuff at Liam Eichenberg last season. You know, every time he was doing a little fumble on the play, man. Every time he was messing around, nobody in the stands even knew what I was talking about. But if he could somehow hear me 300 rows up, he'd be pretty. His feelings would be pretty hurt. So I'm going to be a lot nicer to Liam Eichenberg this year. We'll keep his love life out of it. Well, I hope he blossoms into a great player. I agree. I think he has more promise, though, than Austin Jackson, all jokes aside. Austin Jackson's entering his third year. Like, I need to see it from him.
I just don't think there is much to see from him. I didn't like that pick from the start. He's really shown no growth. I mean, he has costed us game after game. But the reports were not bad out of training camp. I thought the bad reports were really centered around Connor Williams out of anyone.
Oh yeah.
So who knows?
I think that really speaks more negative to Dieter almost. It's like they just don't think Michael Dieter's athletic enough or ready to handle center in this scheme.
I'd rather have Dieter on the field than Austin Jackson and just move Connor Williams to left guard. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, we'll trust Applebaum and his.
We'll trust him. We'll trust
his vision for now, man.
If a year comes around and the offensive line isn't good, maybe then we can tell Matt Applebaum how this offensive line should be built.
Hey, I like the sound of that. You know, I'm sure we'll be seeing Nico in the NFL soon, so it doesn't really matter. We'll trust you to fix the Dolphins soon enough, my friend.
Hopefully, one day.
That would be awesome, man.
I'll take Chris Greer's throne as the general manager.
That is an interesting point. Would you have more of like the idea to be more of like a GM or work something more like in media, like with football, I guess?
I mean, I don't think I could ever take the heat of being a general manager, man. That is just one bad decision and you're out, and one bad decision and you'll never be respected by anyone around the league. So I'd rather just work in media, man. And Chris Greer has made better choices lately, so I'm gonna be nice to him.
There we go. You got the elite take stamp of approval, Chris Greer. Your job is currently safe. You're no longer on the hot seat. Another year, at least.
He brought in the great draft class. He had a great offseason. So yeah, the 2021 draft kind of flipped the switch for him, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely bought him a lot of credibility. And even this draft class, everyone except for Cameron Good, who made it on the practice squad. So all these guys, all four picks, and there was third or fourth and 2 7th rounders, they all became Dolphins. That's pretty nice hits.
And I'm hoping that Tyndall could get a role on this team. I mean, I wouldn't
think he will.
Him taking Robert's job at some point in the season.
They let him change his number to go back to his college number. They let him pick 41. So that's definitely a sign of, hey, you got a spot on this team. Like you've got some say now.
You're not on the practice squad tier. You're on the Miami Dolphins official tier.
Pick your number, buddy.
Yeah. So I like him. I always thought that was a great pick, and Izukama, like we said, might end up having a role. So I think he's had some really nice drafts over the past 2 years. Yeah. Not much I can complain about. Unless Liam, the trade up goes wrong, there's really not much I can complain about.
Yeah, and the jury's still out on Liam Eichenberg. I still think he can grow. And
I'm not out on him.
Applebaum should do wonders for his development, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Eric Ezukama changed his jersey too. He's 18 now, so he's still Preston Williams.
Well deserved. Oh, he's still Preston's number. I didn't even realize that, man.
It's all good. I mean, that's what I'm saying. When you were saying that they in the draft, they're like, oh, we got Ezukama, no more Preston Williams, Lynn Bowden. Eric Ezukama was like, perfect, man. 18, that's the number I'm taking, bro. Thanks for keeping it warm for me, Preston.
Yeah.
Shame. Oh well. Anything else around the NFL though that you don't want to talk about? You've got, honestly, man. I was scrolling through your TikTok, man, just listening to this college football, regular NFL football, just take after take, like breakdown after breakdown. You've got one of the sharpest like football minds I know, and it's pretty. I'm young, man, like I say, but you're at your age, it's even crazier, man. To do it as a junior, that's wild, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Is there anything that, I know it's been a slow Dolphins day, anything you want to talk about in the regular NFL?
I mean, not really anything going on noteworthy, unfortunately, today. I think we did a good job talking about a lot of teams throughout our schedule thing too. So yeah, it was pretty fun, man. It was great.
Anything you've got up in the works coming out on your end on the Elite Take side?
I mean, I'm just planning to roll out my typical NFL content, game predictions, my videos of me reacting to the Dolphins game live. Those are always funny. I remember there was one that went really viral last year, the Robert Hunt touchdown reception.
Yes.
So I'm excited to roll those out just in case something really funny or noteworthy or horrible happens. We'll put that out for the world to see, and just talking about college football as well, and just enjoying the NFL season altogether, man.
Man.
So much stuff I'm curious about going into the year.
Dude,
so much stuff yet to be known. I couldn't be more excited, really.
It's an epic time, man. It's for football in general. College football has been balling so far, but I can't wait to get to the real deal, the NFL.
It's time.
It's that
time on
of
the Bills' downfall this Thursday against the Rams. That would be nice if we can be leading the division after week 1 like last year. Oof. Don't know if I want to get that same hope, but hey.
I love that, man. You know, if Aaron Donald's come out charging there, double helmets, you know, he'll be inciting some terror in the Billy boys and
shake their confidence a little bit. Maybe show them they aren't the best team in the league after all. We'll see.
There we go. I love that, man. I know I've been chewing your ear off for about like an hour and a half now, but is there anything else you want to talk about on the Elite Takes then? Maybe how you got into this? I mean, I know you've talked about your little future projects, which are, I mean, I just said little. We did not mean to belittle.
Oh, no, I know what you mean.
It's awesome what you're working on, man. How'd you even get into this though? Like that's just took off.
Yeah, I mean, it was COVID year at school. I was at home a lot, so I was watching a bunch of other, rising NFL accounts on TikTok, sports accounts. So I decided to give it a stab myself, and it kind of took off around, I'd say, the NFL draft last year. Around the time where Jalen Waddle became a Dolphin was when Elite Takes started to rise up a little bit.
Hey, the meteoric rise with the young penguin. I like that, man. Dude, thanks.
We rose up together, and now I'll always remember that. So yeah,
there we go. Is that a Tyreek jersey?
Yes, it is my Tyreek jersey.
That's clean. I like that. Gotta get a Waddle one soon, man.
I do have a Waddle one actually.
Oh, okay. So you're good to go, man.
I just rep this one because the Waddle one is regular, and I just really like the alternates over the regulars.
Oh yeah, it's definitely like that's why the two. I like my two jerseys just in the middle, just because of that only reason. Just because it's the alternate jersey. Funny story about that before we go, dude. We need a big Dolphins year, man. And I love what you're doing for the Dolphins community because you're a guy putting yourself on the map, but it's also awesome that you're a Dolphins fan. Dude, my guy Tua, when I went to go buy that jersey, I went to the mall to get it because the store said 25% off. I go check the jersey out, and I was like, oh, is it only for for Dolphins stuff? Is it just for the entire store? He goes, no, it's only for Dolphins Tua jerseys.
Oh
And I was
no.
like, so this Alabama jersey right here it's still full price? He's like, that's $150. I was like, what about this jersey? He's like, 90. He's like, I want them all out of my store. This was back in like March. I was like,
Man.
dang, man. I was like, this is still a starting quarterback in the NFL. Like, that's wild.
We should make sure the Tua sees that. You need to get that story out to his ears. So
I checked my phone. I thought we had traded him or something. I was like, whoa. I was like, am I getting hustled right now? Did we just move on from Tua? And like, I don't even know. But
oh no.
So I'm glad you got a nice little jersey collection, man. The alternates are definitely the way to go. That's why I had to get the Tua alternate, man. But
oh yeah, it's great, man. They can make any player look great.
Oh, anyone to go, man. It's a fun time though, man. Dude, thank you for letting me chew your ear off though for almost an hour and a half. Man.
It was a great time for my end too. So,
is there any final thoughts you want to give for the Dolphins season? Which what little Nico, what Nico and the Elite Takes think is going to go for the Dolphins here?
Well, I'm actually I think we covered it all, and I'm also planning to release a video on my TikTok tonight, kind of reflecting what we talked about. So yeah, because I did my record predictions for 31 out of 32 teams, and I saved the Dolphins for last. So we'll kind of reflect some of the stuff we talked about today. So yeah.
Dang, man. Hey, I did see that on Twitter. I didn't know you were dropping it tonight though. So I do appreciate the fact that you took the time.
Oh, yeah, no problem. It was kind of good to hash everything out. So now I know exactly what I'm going to say in that video. So, yeah.
Dang, man. You just made me feel a little special. You know, we just got the Nico practice run, and now you're going to do the real magic behind this. We just got a sneak peek behind the scenes of the real magic when Nico does all his breakdowns for the Elite Takes. I'll keep my eye tuned out for that one, man. And we'll obviously be sharing it around. And it'll be.
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
That's going to be a good one to go, man.
It was a great episode.
Nico, yeah. I appreciate that, man. Everyone, you can find Nico at Elite Takes on TikTok, the star. You can see him on Twitter as well. Any other social media or?
Those are about the two ones that I'm on the most. So yeah.
Bang. So, hey, thank you guys for tuning in. It was always a pleasure. You can like, comment, and subscribe to Nando Talk, and also check out Nico. He does great works, young budding star, and we always love to see that in the Dolphins community, man. Nico, thanks for tuning in, man. I really do appreciate it, man. Let's do it.